Good evening, everybody. Just want to play a couple of videos for you tonight. Some interesting things. That's why the BBC don't want to you watch this YouTube channel. I'll play this one first. I'll have to give a shout out for this particular guy channel.
In London, and today we're speaking about the BBC. For the BBC is in the news for years.
I don't know what
The
happened
BBC
there.
could rely on the fact that anyone who bought a TV had to pay for an annual TV license to fund it. If you had a TV and didn't want to watch the BBC, well, tough. You still had to pay the license fee or face persecution from the TV Licensing Authority and possible prosecution. Now, in the age of multi-channel multimedia and services like Netflix or Prime Video, it all seems terribly out of date and unfair. So what can be done? Well, my colleague at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Philip Booth, who is also a professor at St Mary's University in Twickenham, has an idea. And this can be summed up in 4 simple points. If you don't want to watch or listen to the BBC anymore, you don't have to renew your license, and you won't be prosecuted. The service will be encrypted, so if you want to continue to receive BBC services, then your license fee is converted into a subscription like Netflix or Prime Video. All subscribers will become part owners of the BBC, like a cooperative or the National Trust. Non-subscribers in the UK and around the world can view or listen to individual programmes or box sets by paying for them, rather like iTunes. This will allow the BBC to continue to be a global player, while no longer forcing the public to pay a regressive stealth tax whether they want to watch the BBC or not. What do you think?
The other video I wanted to play was this gentleman, Scott Webb, if I can find it, where it is, or Good Morning Britain. It's some on there, but this Scott Webb had a video that I wanted to play for you. If I can find it. My videos, history. I'll play a bit of this because, like I said, it's Good Morning Britain.
The responsibility for paying for this back to the BBC, and the BBC took on that responsibility, and now here we are 4 years later, and they're abandoning it. Well,
so that's a bit of Good Morning Britain. Let's play a bit again.
The responsibility for paying for this back to the BBC, and the BBC took on that responsibility, and now here we are 4 years later, and they're abandoning it.
Well, I'm writing my column in The Spectator this week about this very issue, and yesterday I Googled how the BBC covered that deal in 2015, and I found a story on the BBC News website headlined BBC to fund over 75's TV licenses. And in the story it says that the BBC has made a deal with the government, and in return for being able to increase the license fee when the charter is renewed in 2017, 2 years hence, back when they made the deal, in return for being able to increase the license fee, the BBC would take on full responsibility for funding free TV licenses for every 75-year-old, not just those on benefits,
now
but
every
75-year-old. And Tony Hall, or Lord Hall, Baron Hall of Birkenhead, as he styles himself, Tony Hall, the Director General of the BBC, said that the BBC was slightly up on the deal. In fact, they were able to raise the license fee, they'd be slightly up on the deal, even taking
And they then
into
raise
account-
the license
They then
fee.
raised the license fee, not just in 2017, but in 2018, and then again
So they've
this
taken
year.
advantage, the BBC, of their part of that deal.
They have
And
benefited
now they're
from their-
reneging
from the
on
other
what
side.
the other part was, which is they carry on funding the over 75 license.
Well, Tony Hall, having initially said the BBC would be slightly up on the deal, is now saying, well, if we have to take on responsibility for this, we'll be £745 million a
Martin
year
Bell,
down.
the BBC was allowed
Gary
to
Lineker
raise the
doesn't get paid
license
that
fee as
much.
part of this deal. They did so several times in the next 4 years, and now they're reneging on their part of the agreement. It's a broken promise, isn't it?
Sounds like it, Piers. Every BBC bone in my BBC body says they're going to have a rethink about this, and I
Yes.
think your campaign will probably be successful. But I want to pay my license.
I
fee.
get that. I get that. I don't think it's, should I, when I get to 75, get a free TV license? Probably not. My anger is not aimed at people who've got plenty of money to afford these kind of things. My anger is really aimed particularly at the family of the D-Day veteran and stuff. We may all have to chip in to help him, because the TV is the lifeline to so many people. And I really think you have to try and divorce, I think, Toby. I have no dislike of the BBC per se at all. I just dislike what they're doing here to pensioners. I think
You don't like
BBC
BBC Breakfast News, do you?
Well, actually, I like them as a rival. I do like them as a rival.
You like healthy
The
competition.
healthy competition's fine, and there's
I
room
think-
for all of us. But I don't like the fact that BBC Breakfast has barely covered this story this morning until now, because we've bullied them into it. The BBC is trying to keep this basically as a low-level news story.
Yeah.
But 3.7 million people is a lot of people to be affected.
A lot of people. I mean, I think it might be time to look again at this particular tax. When it was introduced in 1946, when it kind of made sense, because the BBC was the only channel. But now, I pay monthly subscription to Netflix, to Amazon Prime, to Now TV. Why should I have to pay a TV tax on top of that?
Well,
Particularly
because it's
as
like
I
your
hardly ever watch the
subscription.
BBC.
It's like your subscription, isn't it? And it allows you to watch all. It's not just that you get the BBC. You have to pay the license fee to get all live services.
But none
So-
of the things that are covered by my license fee are things I actually want to watch. I have to pay extra for those things. Why
What
should
do
I
you
have
make?
to pay a
But
tax?
what do you make
just
of
for having a
Martin Bell's point, which is that there are? I mean, I don't know how many people there are who are, for instance, your readers at the Spectator who are over 75 can probably afford to pay the £154. Is it that the means test should be better, the filter should be better, so that people who can afford to pay it do pay it, and subsidise those who really can't? Because currently the means test is simply if you get pensions credit, goes
well,
absolutely on the bread
I
line.
looked at the figures yesterday,
Yes.
and the means test the BBC is proposing to introduce would cover just over a quarter of all those 75-year-olds
Exactly.
In the country
And
who
that's
should
not
be
enough.
eligible for the free TV
Yeah.
licence. I don't think anyone should have to pay a tax just because they own a television
Well,
set.
Martin, it's an
Susanna,
interesting
I
thing.
think that's
This
ridiculous.
debate about the license fee has been raging away. That in this modern climate, with new opposition from Amazon, from Netflix, and these super beasts in Hollywood pumping out all this content, but actually the BBC should rethink its entire operation, entire funding, maybe bring in some more commercialization, and not be afraid to do that.
One of the great glories of public broadcasting is you don't have to watch the dreadful ads that you get on ITV.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah, but
that's
that's
worth a lot.
ITV's funding
adver-
model. You've
But
got to
advertising
fund it
isn't the only
somehow.
way that you can bring in commercial.
right.
No, we have a mixed economy. I think it's been working quite well for dozens of years. It can go on working well, but I do agree that the BBC has to rethink this particular policy it's got.
You're quite right about there are other commercial ways of funding the BBC. So the BBC has a commercial arm called BBC Studios. It has annual revenues of 1.4 billion and
Right.
contributes 200 million a year to the BBC coffers. That doesn't mean putting adverts on the screen. There are other ways of doing it. As you say, I mean, the really galling thing about this, Piers, is that last year, lots of highly paid BBC executives, the highest paid BBC executives, awarded themselves a pay rise
Yeah.
of about 30%. One of the BBC employees, the director of Nations and Regions, awarded himself a pay rise, which saw his salary go up from 250,000
I mean,
a year
Martin,
to
there are
350,000.
106 executives at the BBC who earn £150,000 or more, off-camera executives. Would
And-
that be right?
I don't think so. If you doubled my salary when I left, I would not have been on the rich list. I don't think you were either.
Right,
were
so,
you?
so there's you, Martin Bell, one of the most revered, respected war correspondents the BBC has ever had. If you don't mind me blowing some shrapnel up your backside. But you were a man that I used to watch religiously from all sorts of war zones, risking
Still
your
wearing
life.
the white suit.
And you
glad to
never
see.
even earned half of what these faceless executives in their bureaucratic buildings are earning to make decisions like this.
Because I never even asked for a pay rise. I thought it was such an honour trying to earn the public trust of people.
Well, the BBC has got public trust to an extent, but when they do things like this,
Ebbing away
I
this
think
morning.
the reaction, I've not seen a reaction like this, honestly, since the Windrush scandal, because I think people just feel it's so grotesquely unfair.
So you've got that point of view there, but, you know, adverts are the answer because, you know, why do we have to pay to subsidise all these executive pay? I'm going to play this one.
And a very good evening to your good selves. Now, one of the many stories doing the rounds over the last 24 hours is the BBC crackdown on enforcement of TV licensing. Now, the Times did the original story TV the Express covered it, the Scotsman, although, good God, are they going downhill these days. And, yes, TV licensing Blogspot. I recommend, if you haven't been there, you should go there. I'll leave you a link to this. But let me read you some of this from their Blogspot. It's quite funny, actually, I felt. The BBC has vowed to crack down hard on TV licence evaders after a recent surge in the official evasion rate. The national broadcaster's elite squad of TV licence enforcement goons, one of whom is pictured above in the back of a TV licensing wagon, stand poised to mete out severe punishment on anyone refusing to buy a TV licence, irrespective of their legal need to do so. We're sure our readers are breaking it already. The official evasion rate, since we mentioned it, is actually calculated using mathematical modelling and a bit of guesswork. TV licensing has no way of knowing for sure which unlicensed properties do require a TV license, which is why it churns out its shitty threatograms at such an eye-watering pace.